Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to Ongdoesmath channel. So the reason why I created this channel is really because I hope I can spend more time with my students. 1.5 hours with you guys is not enough each week, especially since we have to do like a full paper. So I hope that these videos can actually help you understand the concepts better as I explain them more slowly and more in depth. And at the same time, I hope that these videos can serve as a review. So before your PSLE, you can just review these videos to recap the concepts that I have taught you guys or your teachers have taught you guys. But if you're not my student, I also hope that these videos can help you guys. And if you have any questions, you can leave it down in the comment section and I will reply to them. So without further ado, let's get started on the P6 Week 20 worksheet. Okay, so first question. There were 854,973 visitors in the Universal Studio last year. Express this number to the nearest 1,000. Okay, so what you will want to do is that you want to write down the number first. And since they ask you to round off the nearest 1,000, you want to identify what is in the thousands place. So digit 4 is in your thousands place. So you would like to underline that. After that, you would like to point an arrow next door. Always remember that the arrow is pointed to the right. Okay, so what's next? So why do we underline this? It's because this is the number that is crucial. So it will either be 4 or 5, and the remaining number will be zeros, and you'll keep the 8 and 5. So will it be 4 or 5 will be determined by the digit next door, which is number 9. So if you see a number 9, you need to understand that you have to round up, because if you see digit 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all these numbers will mean that you have to round the number up. So in this case, the answer is 855,000. So that will give you option 3. Next, find the value of 3/4 divided by 6/7. So this is a division. Whenever you see fraction divided by fraction, KCF has to pop into your mind. So what is KCF? KCF actually stands for keep, change, flip. So it will be 3/4, you keep the 3/4, you change the sign, and you flip the 6/7. So after you flip it, you should get 7/6. So if you look at this, you should be able to see that you can simplify the 3 and 6. So both are divisible by 3. So 3 divided by 3 give you 1. 6 divided by 3 give you 2. So now you can, so after simplification, it will be 1 times 7, top times top, bottom times bottom, which is 4 times 2. So what's 1 times 7? 7. What's 4 times 2? 8. So the answer is actually 7/8, which is option 2. Next, express 1.7 as a percentage. Okay, so from fraction to percentage, is what you need to do is just to times 100. So similarly, from percentage to fraction, it will be divided by 100. But in this question, we are only focused on the forward direction. Okay, so for fraction to percentage, it's just times 100. So it will just be 1.7 times 100, which will give you 170%. Another way is just 1.7. You move the decimal point to the right 2 times. So the decimal point will end up here. Then you'll put a 0 to fill out the space. So it still equals to 170%. So answer is actually option 4. I hope everything is good so far. Try to score as many marks as you can for paper 1, because usually it is the paper 2 that is harder to score. Okay, now we'll move on to question 4. So they ask which 2 lines in the square grid below are perpendicular to each other. So to do this question, you have to understand what perpendicular means. So in this case, perpendicular actually means the 2 lines meet each other at a right angle. So in this case, if you were to use your ruler, which I don't have it with me, because my ruler isn't really working. It doesn't want me to. Yeah. doesn't work. But if you use a ruler, you use the corner, right? This corner right here. This corner. This corner over here is actually right angle. So you just have to use your ruler, go and place it at each corner. So you can place it here, you can place it here. You can place it here, you can place it here. If it aligns perfectly, it means that it's actually a right angle. So in this case, it looks like there's 4 right angle, right? But if you really put your ruler and you go and test it out, actually this is the only right angle that we are looking out for. And in this case, the option is actually BA and BC. So answer is actually option 3. Please understand that AB is also equals to BA. Or they are the same thing. It's just a different namings for the same line. Okay, we'll move on to question 5. Arrange the following distances from the shortest to the longest. So this tests you on a few concepts actually. So there's mixed fraction. You also have to convert your units. And there's also decimal. So not an easy question, but we can work it out slowly. So 623 kilometer is actually equivalent to 6.66666. So in finite number of 6 on kilometer. So how do I know it's 6.66666? In paper 1, you don't really have like a calculator with you. So usually what I recommend students to do is that you have to memorize the common fractions. So total is a common fraction, so it will give you 0.6666666. But if you really forget it, like exams make people stress out, and sometimes I blank out too. Another way you can find out is 0.6666666 is that you can do 2 divided by 3. So if you work it out, I'll shift it over to the left so that there's more space. So you will realize that you get infinite number of 6. Okay, so that's for the first option. Next option, 6 kilometer and 66 meters. So what we want to do is that we want to convert it to 1 unit, which is just kilometer. So how do I convert kilometer and meter to just kilometer? So the 6 can be kept because it's already in kilometer. So 6 point something. So what is 66 meter? 66 meter to kilometer. To convert it, you have to understand that 1 kilometer is equivalent to 1,000 meter. So if you want to convert 66 meter to kilometer, all you have to do is to divide it by 1,000. So 66 divided by 1,000. So move the decimal point to the left 3 times. So now decimal point is here. You have a 0 here, a 0 here. So it's actually 0.066 kilometer. So 6 kilometer and 66 meter is equivalent to 6.066 kilometers. This one we can keep. So now you can compare it, right? So you have this, you have this, you have this, and you have this. So which one is the longest? I hope you can see that this is the longest. So this is the longest. And this is actually the shortest. So longest will be this. Shortest will be 6 kilometer and 66 meter. So answer is actually option 2. Okay, so some of you guys might ask, why is this longer than this, right? So if I were to compare 6.66666 with 6.6, right? Sorry. 6.6 is actually equal to 6.600000000. You can put as many 0 as you want, but you will still be 0. So since this number is bigger than this number, like this digit is bigger than this digit, that's why this is actually bigger. Yeah. Okay, so next we'll move on to question 6. Which of the following is most likely to be the mass of a can of Coke? The answer is actually option 1. if you look at the can of Coke, it's actually written on the can itself. So if you look at the can of Coke right here, I actually got it here. It says 330 ml, right? Actually, water, right, 1 gram is equals to 1 ml. So just, I guess, like when you do this type of question, try to recall like the wordings on the object itself. Usually, like a can of Coke is like 350 ml. So it's roughly like 350 grams. Yeah. Next, the figure below shows Nuru standing in a square field. She was facing south at first. She then turned anti-clockwise to face point A of the field. How many degrees did she turn in the anti-clockwise direction? Okay, so before you do this question, you have to label your compass. So here is north, south will be the bottom, east will be on your right, and your west will be on your left. So north, south, east, west. This is something you have to understand. Then she was facing south at first, so she was facing south at first. Then she turned anti-clockwise. So what's anti-clockwise? So if you look at your clock, if you can't recall in the exam hall, just look at the clock ticking. The clock ticks in this direction. Tick, 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 tick. Like the clock tick, 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 tick. So anti-clockwise means the opposite of clockwise, which means that you have to turn this direction instead. Okay, so in this case, you will turn this direction instead. Then after that, they say that she faced point A of the field, so she faces here. So she started off facing south, which is F. Then she ended up facing A in the anti-clockwise direction. Then now the question asks, how many degrees did she turn in the anti-clockwise direction? So what is this degree? What is this angle? So I hope you can see that it's made out of 180 degree plus a 45. So it will just be 225 degree. So answer is option 3. Next. Next, I understand that you guys learn algebra in the later part of the year only, but such algebra question do come out, and it will be a plus point if you know how to do them. So find the value of 8 plus p over 2 plus p when p equals to 4. So what you need to do is just to sub in p equals to 4 into this equation. So 8 plus p over 2 plus p is equals to, so sub in the p equals to 4, right? So replace the p with 4 instead. Replace the p with 4. So you get 12 over 2 plus 4. So 12 over 2 is just equals to 12 divided by 2, which will give you 6 plus 4, and it will give you 10. So the answer is option 3. Next. In the figure below, AB and CD are straight lines. Which one of the following statements is true? So AB and CD are straight lines is actually like a very important information. So what you want to do is you want to highlight AB and CD. So there's one property that you have to think of, which is called vertically opposite angle. So vertically opposite angle means that the angles opposite each other is actually the same. So you can kind of guess that angle A is equals to angle D. At the same time, angle B plus angle C is equivalent to angle E. Okay, so now we'll look at the different options that we have. So first option, angle A equals to angle C. Well, there are no properties to prove that is true, so this is actually wrong. Option 2, angle E equals to angle B. Well, angle E is not equals to angle B, but rather angle E is equivalent to angle B plus angle C. So this is also wrong. Next, angle A is equals to C plus D. Well, that's also wrong. We have already come to a conclusion that angle A is equals to angle D earlier. So the only option is angle E is equals to angle B plus angle C. So that's option 4. Next, question 10. Alan has a weekly allowance of Y dollars. He saves $5 and spends the rest of his allowance in 6 days. What is the average amount of money he spends in a day? Give your answer in terms of Y. So firstly, he's given Y dollar as weekly allowance. He saves $5 and spends the rest. So the first thing we need to find is the amount of money he spends in total. Of course, this is paper 1, so the working is not marked, which means that you don't have to write such lengthy working like me, but I'm just writing it so that you guys are following. So what's the amount of money that Alan spends? It's actually Y minus $5 because he saved the $5. Now they want to know the average. So I hope you remember this triangle called ton. So it stands for total, average, and number. So how does this triangle works, right? Is that to find the average, you just take total divided by number. So now we want to find the average, which is the total. Total in this case is Y minus 5. Number of days is 6, so you divide it by 6. So the answer is actually option 2. Okay, now we'll move on. Question 11. The table below shows the charges for renting a bicycle on a weekend. Mr. Lim rented 2 bicycles from 11:00 to 15:00 on Sunday. How much did he pay altogether for renting the bicycles? Okay, so if you look at this, you should kind of guess that you should draw a number line. So we'll start from 11:00 and at 15:00. So for the first hour, he has to pay $8. And for additional hour, he will have to pay another $6. But there's a catch here, which means that you rent 3 hours and you get the next 1 hour for free. Okay, so we'll do it slowly. So next will be 1400 and that will be another $6. Oh, then next will be 1500. So if you rent for 3 hours, you get this hour for free, which means that this hour you pay $0. So how much did he pay altogether? So just add them up, $8 plus a $6 plus a $6 plus a $0. So that gives you $20. Okay, so there's another trap in this question, which is that he rented 2 bicycles. So what we calculated here is actually for 1 bicycle. So to make it 2 bicycles, you just have to multiply it by 2. So answer is just $40. So answer is option 3. Okay, next. A square piece of paper was folded along the dotted line as shown below. Find angle H. Okay, this is a type of question that I see very often in PSLE questions. So they will have like a paper, then they will try to fold it. Okay, whenever this happens, there'll be students doing funny things like folding their PSLE paper and everything. Okay, but the concept you just need to know here is that this triangle is equals to this triangle. They are the same thing. Which means that if this is angle H, this is also angle H. This is 90, this is also 90. This angle over here, I'll use another color. This angle over here is also equals to this angle over here. Okay, so now they ask you to find angle H. Okay, so now we have to do it slowly. So the first concept that should come to your mind is angles on a straight line. So what you want to do is you want to find out what the proper angle is first. So to find the proper angle, you should understand that angles on the straight line add up to 180. So you take 180 minus 40 degree, you get 140. Then you divide it by 2 because there are 2 proper angles. So 140 divided by 2 gives you 70. So the proper angle over here is actually 70 degree. So now you can just focus on one single triangle. If you are focused on this. So what is the sum of angle in a triangle? Yep, it's 180 degree. So to find angle H, you just have to take 180 minus 70 minus 90 should give you 20 degrees. So answer will be option 1. Okay, so now we'll move on to question 13. The price of a concert ticket was $120. There was an early bird discount of 25% and students were given a further discount of $12. How much did one early bird discount student's ticket cost? Okay, so the original price is 120. Original price always equates to 100%. Then now there is a discount of 25%, which means that the person paying for the ticket only has to pay for 75% of the original price. Next, then the students were given a further discount of $12. So you just have to deduct another $12. So now we'll do the step 1 first, 75% of original price. So what is 75% of original price? In this case, you don't have calculator. So 75% just means 75 over 100. Original price here is 120. So now you can do this. You can try to simplify things. So both are divisible by 25. So 75 divided by 25 give you 3. 100 divided by 25 give you 4. Then now the 4 and 120 can also be simplified. So both are divisible by 4. So realize that you will end up with 90. Then step 2 is that students get a further discount of $12. So you just take 90 minus 12, should get 78. So answer is option 1. Question 14. There were some boys and girls in the school hall. An equal number of boys and girls wear spectacles. Half of the girls and 4/7 of the boys do not wear spectacles. What fraction of the children wear spectacles? Okay, it's a very long question. What I want you to focus is this part over here. Equal number of boys and girls wear spectacles. And this fraction over here. So if half of the girls do not wear spectacles, so if I draw the model girls and boys, half don't wear specs, which means that the other half wear specs. So this one don't wear. This one wears specs. Next, 4/7 of the boys do not wear specs, which means that 3/7 of the boys wear specs. So 3 wear specs, 4 do not wear specs. So in total, there are 7 units for boys. Next, equal number of boys and girls wear specs. So if you look at my model, it's actually intentional. So basically, this part is equals to this part. Which means that for girls, each of the units can be split further into 3 parts. So now, what fraction of the children wear spectacles? So now, each part is actually 1 unit. So if you go and count that in total, there are actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There are 13 units. So now the question asks what fraction of the children wear specs. So it's just this part, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wear specs. 6 units. So now the answer is already revealed. So answer is just 6 over 13. So that gives you option 3. Next, Letitia had 2 square boxes of different sizes. Each side of the bigger box is 2 times as long as each side of the smaller box. Letitia can pack exactly 64 1 cm cubes into the smaller box. How many 1 cm cubes can she pack exactly into the bigger box? Okay, so Letitia have 2 square boxes of different size. The thing about square is that all sides are the same. So I want to draw it more accurately. Each side of the biggest box is 1 unit as long as each side of the smaller box. So if I give this 1 unit, the bigger box have a side that is twice, right? So I'll give it 2 units. The teacher can pack 64 smaller cubes into the smaller box. Then they ask you how many 1 cm cube can she pack into the bigger box. So they are actually testing you for volume. So it's actually 3D. So all boxes. So for the small volume, the volume in units is just 1 unit times 1 unit times 1 unit. So 1 times 1 times 1 gives you 1. So it's actually 1 unit cube. For the bigger box, is 2 unit times 2 unit times 2 unit. So 2 times 2 times 2 gives you 8. So 1 unit cube can fit 64 boxes. 64 cubes. So what about 8 unit cube, right? So 8 unit cube is just 64 times 8. No calculator, so if I work it out, you will get 512. So it's just 512. So answer is actually option 4. Next, 3/5 divided by 15. So like we said earlier, this is division. So the acronym that should come to your mind is keep, change, flip. So write down the equation again. So keep, change, flip. Keep the 3/5, change the sign, flip the 15, and you will become 1 over 15. Because 15 is actually 15 over 1. Okay, so 3/5 times 1 over 15. Simplify. 1, 5. Because both are divisible by 3. So 1 over 25. And that's your answer. Next, find the average of 14, 25, and 36. So same triangle as we used earlier, the tan triangle. So the total, what you want to do is you find the total. What is the total? So I recap. Tan just stands for total, average, and number. So in this case, total can be found by adding the 3 numbers up. So for time's sake, I'll just use calculator, but do understand that you can't use calculator in paper 1. So 14 plus 25 plus 36 gives you 75. The number in this case is 3 because there are 3 numbers. So to find the average, you just take total divide by number. Total divide by number give you average. So it just be 75 divided by 3, which should give you 25. Next, question 18, Angus question. I always tell my students that you should love Angus questions because they are more simpler than other questions because you just have to recall all the properties. So in this question, in the figure below, AB and CD are parallel lines, which means that they will never meet. And angle AFE is equals to 58 degrees. Find angle FGD. So where's FGD? FGD is here. Okay, so now I can see myself doing it in 2 steps. So firstly, if this is 58, this is also 58. Because we use the rule of corresponding angle. Because these 2 lines are parallel. Next, to find what we want, we just have to use angles on the straight line. Angles on the straight line add up to 180. So that's it, 180 minus 58 degree, which will give you 122 degree. So answer is just 122 degree. Next, express 3a as a decimal. So this is a simple division kind of question. So the line just means divide. So 3 divided by 8. Okay, so what's 3 divided by 8? 3 cannot be divided by 8, so you put 0 first. Because you're out of numbers, right? So you can put a 0.0. You can actually put as many zeros at the back as much as you want, but in this question but in exams we just put as much as we need. Okay, so now so if you put a decimal point here, you also have to put a decimal point here. So what's 30 divided by 8? So you write down the multiplication. So 24, right? So now 6, put another 0. I'll continue. So next it will be 56. carry down a 0 again. So now then you can do this. So now we don't have remainder anymore. So answer is just 0.375. Next, complete the symmetric figure below with xy as the line of symmetry. So what is line of symmetry? Right? Just imagine it's like, as like a mirror. You look into the mirror, you see yourself. So in this case, xy is the mirror. So if this figure looks at himself in the mirror, this figure over here, he should be able to see something like that. So this is close, right? And far will be here. Then the line come close to the mirror again. So here also must come close to the mirror again. Then now the line go far away from the mirror. So you look something like that. Yeah, so you can kind of see that. The left of the mirror is the same as the right of the mirror. Yes. Next, question 21. So the average again, so the triangle that you have to think about is the tan triangle, which is total average number. So the average of a set of 3 different 2-digit numbers is 32. So the average is 32. Number is 3 because there are 3 numbers that were given. So find the largest possible number in the set. So before we do that, what we need to do is to find the total of the 3 numbers. So total is 32 times 3, which is 96. So now to find the largest number, we just make the other 2 numbers to be very small as possible. So the smallest 2-digit number is 10. So we make the first number 10. Second number, be careful, it cannot be 10 because all the 3 numbers has to be different. So we only can make it to be 11. Then the third number will just be 96 minus 10 minus 11, which will give you 75. So answer is 75. Next, Pansy bakes some cookies. If she gives each of her friends 6 cookies, she'll have no remainder. If she gives each of them 4 cookies instead, she'll have 24 cookies left. How many cookies did Pansy bake? So this one is just a multiples kind of question. So what you want to do is you want to list out the multiples of 6. Is multiplication of 6. So 6, 12, 18, 24, sorry, 30, 36, 42, 48. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60, 66, 72. Next, if she gives each of them 4 cookies instead, she'll have 24 cookies left. So in this case, you need another column which states plus 24. So list out the multiples of 4 first. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 30, 6, 40, 44. But for each of the numbers, you have to plus 24. So it'll be 28, 32, 36, 40. Is it 40? Yes, then 44, 48, 52, 56, 60, 64, 68. We need one more because there's still no common number between this column, this row and this row. So one more will be 48, then 72. So the only common number is 72. So answer is 72. Yeah. The reason why we never plus anything for the first row is because there's no remainder. So we don't really have to change the numbers. Next. It takes 90 minutes to fill a container completely with water. What fraction of the container will be filled with water in 1 hour? Give your answer in the simplest form. So firstly, the units are different. So you want to convert them into the same unit. So 1 hour is actually 60 minutes. So this question is just asking you to find a fraction. So it just be 60 over 90. So both are divisible by 30. So it gives you 2/3. So actually 2/3 of the container will be filled with water if you are only given 1 hour amount of time. So 2/3. Okay, so next question, question 24. The figure below is made out of 3 similar squares, each of side 16 cm. What is the area of shaded triangle? So if here is 16, here is 16, here is 16. They are all 16 because these are all squares, which means that all sides are the same. So what's the area of the shaded triangle? So you have to remember your formula for area of triangle, which is half times base times height. In this case, the base is 16. Height is also 16. So it'll just be half times 16 times 16, which will give you 128 cm squared. Next, a box contains bits of 3 different colors. 2/5 are blue. Ratio of green to red is 4:3. What's the ratio of blue to red? So this one you have to write down the ratio actually. So you have blue to green to red and to total. So we'll go through a sentence again. So 2/5 are blue. So the 2 belongs to blue. And 5 denominator always belongs to total. So 2, 5. Which means that green and red will give you 3. Next, ratio of green to red is 4:3. So green is here. Green is 4. Red is 3. Correct. So what is the ratio of blue to red? So what we want to do is that we have to make green and red to be the same number because they are the same. So 4 plus 3 add up to 7, right? So you have to find the common multiple of 3 and 7, which is 21. So this one, the whole row times 7. So you'll be, let me just rewrite. Be 14 to 21 to 35. And for the second row, the whole row times 3. So it will just be 4 times 3 is 12. 3 times 3 is 9. So now if you combine the 2 rows together, you will get 14 is to 12 is to 9 is to 35. But the question only one ratio of blue to red. So you just have to focus on blue to red. Blue to red. So it's 14 is to 9. So answer is 14 is to 9. Next. Ali had 3 times as much money as Nathan at first. After Ali spent $30 and Nathan received 48 from his mother, both boys had the same amount of money. How much money did Nathan have in the end? So Ali, also what we want to do is we want to draw a model because there are too many things happening. So Ali and Nathan. Ali had 3 times as much as Nathan at first. After Ali spent $30 and Nathan received $48, they have the same amount of money. So 48. So I spent 30. Now they have the same amount of money. How much money did Nathan have in the end? Okay, so we can bring the 48 on top. So 48 is here, right? So here is also 48. Because they are the same thing. Which means that 2 units is 48 plus 30. The two units is here. So this is 1 unit, 1 unit, 1 unit. This was also, this also used to be 1 unit. Okay, so now 2 unit is 48 plus 30, which is 78. How much money did Nathan have in the end? Nathan had 1 unit plus 48, right? So we go and find 1 unit first, which is just 78 divided by 2, which will give you 39. Then just take 39 plus 48, which is 87. So Nathan has 87 in the end. Next, the ratio of the length and breadth of a rectangle is 8:3. So if you draw a rectangle, length is 8 units, breadth is 3 units. So it looks something like that. So what fraction of the perimeter of the rectangle is the length of the rectangle? So they ask you to find a fraction. The denominator is the perimeter of rectangle. And the numerator is the length of the rectangle. So the length is 8 units. And how do you find the perimeter? Is you add up all the sides. So 8 plus 3 plus 8 plus 3. So it should give you 22. And if you simplify it, because both are divisible by 2 actually, so it will give you 4 over 11. So answer is 4 over 11. Next, question 28. The line graph. So whenever you see line graph, what you want to do first is to label all the numbers. So January is 25. February is 35. So you just, what I did was just use a ruler, trace it all the way to the axis. So March is 55. April is 85. Okay. So now we have all the numbers in. So now they ask, what was Hilary's average increase in the number of stickers per month from January to April? So now we have another average question, average thing of the triangle, tan triangle. So recap total, average, number. Okay, so what's the total increase from January to April? The total increase is 85 minus 25, which is 60. And how many months are there? So the number of months will give you the number. So from January to April, there are actually 3 months. So from January to April, there is actually an increase in 3 months. So number is 3. So you just take 60 divided by 3. Average is 20. So I'll have you label this is the average. This is the total increase. Hope everything so far so good. If you got any questions, you can actually leave it down in the comment section. Okay, next. In the square grid below, PQ and QR form 2 sides of the parallelogram. Complete the drawing. So parallelogram means the opposite sides are actually parallel. So that, which means that they will never meet. So just try to follow the line. So here is QR, right? So the opposite side will be something like that. Then the rest is just combine the 2 points. Yeah. Then the next thing you have to do is to label the S, because the parallelogram is PQRS. Don't forget the S. Yeah. Question 30. A number has 15 as a factor. Then they ask you to state whether the statement is true, false, or not possible to tell. Okay. So the number has 15 as a factor, which means that the number is a multiple of 3. This is actually true. Why is it the case? 15 is actually 3 times 5. So if this number has like 15 as a factor, which means that this number is 15 times something, which also means is equals to 3 times 5 times something. So there's a 3 inside, which means that the number will always be a multiple of 3. Yeah. Next, the number is an even number. This one is not possible to tell, because you can have 15 as a factor, but it can be 15 times 3, right? Which means that as long as this number over here is not even, the number will never be an even number. Yeah, because it is 45. Okay, next, we have finally reached paper 2. Also, like I said earlier, paper 2 is a little bit harder to score because it's actually used to differentiate the students. But for this paper, you can use calculator. So Let's try our best to do these questions. Okay, so the primary 6 teachers and pupils from Everest Primary School went on a learning journey. For every 38 pupils, there were 2 teachers with them. There were 216 more pupils than teachers. How many pupils went on the learning journey? Well, they didn't start off easy. It's not a very easy question. So for every 38 pupils, there were 2 teachers with them, which means that the difference in size is 36. So like I said, 38 pupils, 2 teachers. So that's a difference of 36 between the number of teachers and pupils per class. So the difference is 36. But now they tell you that the total difference is 216 pupils, which means that we actually can find the number of classes by taking 216 divided by 36. And that should give you 6 classes. So there were 6 classes who went. One class got 38 pupils. So just take 6 times 38. So in total, there are 228 pupils who went on this learning journey. Yeah. So some of you might be wondering why I take 216 divided by 36, right? Why did I have this step over here? So if you look at, so I need you to imagine. So for every class, there is like 36 more teachers, more students than teachers. This is one class. And if there are 2 classes, the second class will also have 36 more students than teachers. But in total now the difference in the number of students and teachers is larger, right? Now it's 72. So you can kind of imagine that if you have more classes, the differences get larger and larger until the difference becomes 216. So to find the number of classes, which means the number of circle, we just take 216 divided by 36. Then you find the number of classes. Once you find the number of classes, you can easily find the number of pupils because you can take the number of classes times the number of pupils in each class. Next we have an algebra question. So there were 32 cars and 3 Y motorcycles in a car park. How many wheels are there all together? Okay, so one car got 4 wheels. One motorcycle got 2 wheels. So what you need to do is just take 32 times 4 to find the number of wheels in cars. So that will give you 128. Then now you find the number of wheels in motorcycles. It will just be 3y times 2. What is 3y times 2? It's actually 6y. So if you can't imagine this, you can imagine it in units. So usually 3 units times 2 just means 6 units, right? So you can treat the y as units. So 3y times 2 is just 6y. Okay, next. So total number of wheels. We just take 128 plus 6y. And this is actually the simplest form. So 128 plus 6y. So now if y equals to 8, how many wheels are there all together? So this one you just have to substitute the number. So 128 plus 6y. This was the total number of wheels, right? So replace y with 8 instead. So it will be 128 plus 6 times 8. So 6y means 6 times y. It's not 6 plus y, it's not 6 minus y, it's not 6 divided by y. So it's something you have to get into your mind. 6y means 6 times y. So it will be 6 times 8. Okay, so if you are not familiar with the bracket, I can replace with times. But bracket usually just means times. So 128 plus 6 times 8 will give you 176. So answer for this question is 176. Okay, next question. Question 3. The average temperature in January 2018 was 28 degrees Celsius. The average temperature in February 2018 was 32 degrees Celsius. Find the percentage increase in the average temperature of the 2 months. Give your answer to the nearest 2 dp. So percentage increase, right? You need to know the formula. It just means increase divided by original. So original in this case is January. So increase over original times 100%. So original is January, so which means it's 28. So what's the increase? It increased from 28 to 32, right? So the increase is the 30 is actually 32 minus 28, which is 4. So in this case, it will just be 4 over 28 times 100%. Don't try to do it yourself because it is paper 2, so just key in your calculator. So you should get, I'll just key into my calculator. So you should get 14.285 something. But they want you to round to nearest 2 decimal place. So 2 decimal place in this case is this 8. So draw the arrow to the right. You should understand that you have to round up, which means that the 8 will round up to 9. So it will be 14.29%. Yeah. Question 4. 4 friends shared the cost of a birthday gift equally. When calculating the amount of each share, one of the friends made a mistake by dividing the cost by 3 instead of 4. Each friend ended up paying 280 more than the correct share. What should be the correct amount of each share? This is not an easy question either. Okay, so for this question, we have 4 friends. This question is very similar to like this question whereby, what if this friend never come? Right, it's the same concept because the guy only divided the cost by 3 instead of 4, which means that it's as if like this friend didn't come. Then everyone has to pay 280 more. But in this case, this guy came, then everyone has to pay 280 more, which means that this actually belong to this guy. So one guy actually has to pay 280 times 4, which is 1120. So this guy has to pay 1120. So the total was 1120 times 3, which is 3360. So now what is the correct amount of share? So now you're supposed to divide it by 4, right? So just take $33.60 divided by 4. So you'll get 840. So answer is 840. Yeah. At a fruit store, 1 watermelon and 5 apples cost $10. Elsa paid $14.90 for 1 watermelon and 12 apples. How much did 1 apple cost? So I hope a model will help you. So 1 watermelon and 5 apple cost you $10. Or 1 watermelon and 12 apples. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Will cost you $14.90. So how much money will 7 apples cost you? You just have to take $14.90 minus $10. So 7 apples is just $14.90 minus $10, which is $4.90. So if you can't see it, I'll try to draw it for you. It's just, so this is $14.90, right? So here is $10. So here will be $14.90 minus $10, which is $4.90. So 7 apples cost you $4.90. So 1 apple is just $4.90 divided by 7. So 490 divided by 7 gives you 70 cents. Just key in your calculator, punch into your calculator. Don't try to do it manually. Okay, next question 6. Leslie spent $750 of his monthly salary on food. He spent $3,700 of the remaining salary on transport. After that, he had $1,000 of his salary left. How much of his salary did he spend on transport? Same thing. Try to use a model. Okay, so before that, we try to make sense of the fraction. So 7, 3, 7, right? So 3 belongs to who actually? 3 belongs to transport. 7 belongs to the remaining salary. Then after that, he got 1/3 left. So 1 was what was left. 3 belongs to salary. Okay, so 750 was spent on food. And you got remaining, right? Okay, forgive me for my horrible handwriting. Got remaining. After that, 3/7 of it remaining. So you have to the remaining salary was cut into 7 parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then 3 of this 7 unit was spent on transport. Then whatever was left was 1 unit of his original salary, which means 1 unit of the whole thing. So if you understand that this one is 1 unit and the whole thing is 3 units, something like that. 1 unit is 4 parts, so we can label this as 1 part, 1 part, 1 part, 1 part. And in total, we have 3 units. Okay, so I'll just write it down. 1 unit gives you 4 parts. 3 units should give you 4 times 3, which is 12 parts. So in total, you should see 12 parts, which means that the food makes up how many parts? The food makes up 12 minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 12 minus 7 parts, which is 5 parts. So the food made up 5 parts, which means that you can split the food into 5 parts actually. So you can just split it. So now if you look at it, 5 parts give you 750. So go and find out what 1 part is. 1 part should give you 150. So now then, how much did he spend on transport? So transport is 3 parts, right? So it's right here. 1, 2, 3, transport. So to find that 3 parts, just take 150 times 3. It should give you 450. So answer for this question is 450. Not an easy question because you have to split it into units and parts to be able to do the question. Next. Oh, I can already foresee like some common mistake. Okay, so lampposts were installed along a new stretch of straight road. There was a distance of 25 meters between every 2 lampposts. Each lamppost cost $55. How much did it cost to install all the lampposts on the stretch of road containing 3.2 kilometers? So then this is the third lamp. The distance is also 25. You have a 4th lamp. The common mistake for this question is like if there are 4 lamps, right? There are actually 3 gaps. And if there are 3 lamps, there are actually 2 gaps. And if there are 2 lamps, there are actually 1 gap. So why is it so important, right? Is that you have to really find out what you are looking out for. Are you actually finding out for the number of gaps or like the number of lamps? So this is like a common mistake that usually students will have. So now they tell you that the stretch of road is 3.2 kilometers. So convert this to meter because the unit here is meter. So what is 3.2 kilometers in meter? You times 1,000. Why 1,000? Because 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. And 1 meter is 100 cm. So don't confuse the 1000 with 100 because this is also another common mistake. Okay, so 3.2 kilometer times 1000, this gives you 3200 meter. Just punch in your calculator, especially since you can use calculator. Okay, so firstly, you have to find out the number of gaps. Like I said, gaps is this thing over here. So number of gaps is 3200 divided by 25. Punch into your calculator, 128. There are 128 gaps, like 128 of like the 25-meter gaps. Then how many lambs are there? It's just plus one, right? Like I said, there are two. If there is one gap, you have two lambs. So it's just a plus one kind of thing. So number of lambs, just 128 plus 1, which means that there are 129 lambs that you have to pay for. And one lamb costs you $55. It's written here. Which means that if you have to pay for 129 lambs, you have to pay for 55 times a 129 kind of price. That gives you 7095. Okay, we are doing good. Now we'll move on. Next is an angles question. Should be very happy if you see angles question. So now they tell you it's a parallelogram. What's so special about parallelogram is that opposite sides are actually parallel to each other, which means that they will never meet. Okay. BAD is 104, ABD is 29. In parallelogram, opposite angles are also the same. So this 104 here will be 104. Then next, you see a Z shape over here. Oh, let me draw it properly. Z shape, which means it is 29, here also 29. We use the alternate angle rule. Okay, so now we got this done. Now they want to find angle BCD. So where is angle BCD? BCD. You want to find this angle, which we conveniently found out just now. So angle BCD is 104 degrees. Okay, so paper 2, you are graded for working, right? So you write angle BCD is equal to angle DAB, which is 104 degrees, because you use the opposite angle rule. Now, part B, you want to find out CBD. So C is here, B is here, D is here. So do you want to find out what this angle is? Okay, before you take anything, you have to tell them you found out that this is 29 degrees. So angle BDC is equals to angle ABD, which is 29 degrees because of alternate angle. Then now you can go and find the one that you want by using the property of angle sum in a triangle, add up to 180. So just take 180 minus 29 minus 104 degrees. And it should give you 47 degrees. Okay, I hope you're following so far. Question 9. The bar graph below shows the number of packet drinks sold on Monday. The bar that shows the number of soft drinks has not been drawn. How many more packets of hot beverage were sold than isotonic drink? Okay. Before we do part A, seems like we have to label our bar graph. So, like I said, to label this, you have to draw the way to your left. So this will give you 38. Because each interval is actually 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Then this one, draw to the left, it will be 22. Draw to your left, it will be 44. Because this is 42, so this will be 44. Okay, so how many more packets of hot beverage were sold than isotonic? So we are comparing hot beverage and isotonic, the difference between them. So just take 44 minus 38, which gives you 6. Part B, 35% sold were soft drinks. In the graph above, draw the bar to show the number of packets of soft drinks sold. Soft drinks make up 35% of all the drinks, which means that the remaining 3 drinks will make up 100 minus 65%, minus 35%, which is 65%. Because you must understand that the total will always give you 100%. Okay, so if you add up isotonic, yogurt, and hot beverage, it should give you 65% of the total. So we can do that by adding them. Should give you 104. So 65% is 104. We want to go and find 35% because we are finding for soft drinks. So 35% just be 104 divided by 65 times 35. It should give you 56. So you should draw a bar graph that shows you 56. So this will be 52, 54, 56. So it should be somewhere here. Draw it downwards. Okay, then another question students might ask is, should I shade the bar graph, right? It really depends on what your teachers say. But for me, I would say shading is better. Why is shading better? Because shading just makes your bar graph clearer. You know, because in for PSLE, your strip are scanned right now. So like it might not be visible. Like your bar graph might not be visible. So shading might be a little bit better, but obviously some teachers would recommend against shading. So just follow what your teachers say. Obviously, if you shade, don't shade like that. Don't like waste your time to shade like that. Just like draw a few lines, just draw a few strokes. Is enough. Don't waste your time. Don't like, use the time to actually go and check your answers because it's the only paper you are doing it. It will determine like which secondary school you are going to. So I would say it's a very important exam. Okay, question 10. Mrs. Leong needs to tie 160 parcels with string. Each parcel requires 40 cm of string. The string is sewed in rows of 50 meters each. What is the least number of rows of string that Mrs. Leong needs to buy to tie 160 parcels? Okay, so each parcel requires 40 cm of string. Then each row is sewed in 15 meters each. Okay, something you should start to realize already is that the units are different. So try to make the units the same. So 15 meter is 150 cm. Why? Because 1 meter is 100 cm. So 15 meter, oh sorry, I made a mistake. So 15 meter should be 100 times 15, which is 1500 cm. Okay, so even I made a mistake, so this is 1500 cm. You need 160 parcels. So one parcel, you need 40 cm of string, right? So 160 parcel. So go and find out the length of string that you need first. So 160 times 40. Just punch into your calculator. That gives you 6400 cm. So then now you need to go and find you need to go and buy rows. So how many rows you need? Just take 6400 divided by 1500. Gives you 4.2 something something something. So you have 4.2 something something something. How many rows do you need? You actually need 5 rows. Because you rather have more than less, right? You need like the remaining string you can throw away, but you still need the string. You still need at least 5 rows of string. So this number of rows is 5. Okay, so what the working you need to write just 4 plus 1, which is 5. Okay, now we can move on to question 11. The figure VWYZ is not drawn to scale. Okay, it is important not drawn to scale. Please don't use your ruler and start measuring in the middle of the exam because you'll never be correct. You have to use the concepts that you learn in class to do these questions. Okay, so YZ is 6 cm, VX is 10 cm, YZ is 3/4 of BW. This is a crucial information. YZ is 3/4 of VW. So 3 belongs to who? 3 belongs to YZ. 4 belongs to VW. Okay, then area of triangle is 18 cm cube. So WXZ is where? WXZ. This guy over here is 18 cm cube. Then they ask you to find what's the area of the shaded triangle. Okay, so there's a few information that we have to take care of. So we'll deal with this first. So what did they tell you? They tell you YZ is 6 cm. And YZ in this case is 3 units. So 3 units is 6 cm. You want to find VW, which is 4 units. So what you want to do is go and find 1 unit first, which is 6 divided by 3, 2. Then go and find VW, which is equivalent to 4 units, which is just 2 times 4. So VW is 8 cm. VW is 8 cm. Okay. So in order to find area of shaded triangle, right, you need base and height, right? Because the formula for area of triangle is half times base times height. So in this case, you got the height, but you don't know what's the base. And in order to find the base, you have to make use of this information over here, where they say triangle WX is 18 cm cube. Okay, so we'll try to make use of that information. So area of triangle WXG is 18 cm cube, which is equal to half times base, right? The base is WX. Height is 6. So if I look at this, so half times WX times 6 is 18. So then we can find WX because there's only one unknown in one equation. When you have one unknown in one equation, you can go and find out what the unknown is. So WX is just 18. Shift this over, it becomes divide because here is times. So if you shift the half over, you also need to divide. So WX is just 18 divided by 6 divided by half. So just punch in your calculator, it gives you 6. So WX is 6. Now perfect, you can go and find the area of shaded triangle. Because you have the base, you have the height. So it's just half times base. Base in this case is 6. Height in this case is 8. So it should give you 24 cm squared. So it's 24 cm squared. Remember to write your units. If not, you will actually deduct half marks from your paper. Next, question 12. A container was filled with 7-8 liters of water at first. 1/12 liter of the water was used and the remaining water was poured into bottles, each with a capacity of 1/6 liters. How many such bottles were filled at most? So container was filled with 7-8 liters of water at first. This is the container. Was filled with 7-8 liters of water. Then 1/12 of the water was used. So you go and use some, right? And now you have 1/12 left. And the remaining one, you go and split into bottles. And the remaining water go and split into bottles, small bottle. Don't know how many bottles are there. Then question A asks you how many such bottles were filled at most. Okay, so firstly, go and find out how much water you have left. So 7-8 minus 1/12. Just punch into your calculator. Don't need to try to do it manually. Okay, so you get 19 out of 24. So this 19 out of 24 liter, you have to split it into bottles. And each bottle is 1/6 liter. 1/6 liter, 1/6 liter, 1/6 liter, 1/6 liter. So how many bottles are there? Just take 19 over 24 divided by 1/6. Don't need keep change flip, just clean your calculator. So you should get 4.75. So how many bottles are filled at most? Is just 4. Because the remaining bottle is not filled completely. So only 4 bottles are filled completely. B, how much water was left? If you go and so one bottle, you use up 1/6 liter, and you have to fill up 4 bottles. You fill up 4 bottles, which means that you use up another 1/6 times 4, amount of volume, which means it's 2/3 liter. So how much water was left? You started with 7/8, right? Initially, you already used 1 out of 12. Then you use another 2/3. So punch into your calculator, you should get 1/8 liter. So answer is 1/8 liter. Yeah. Question 13. Mr. Bond earns a commission of 2500 for every car he sold. For every 10 cars sold, he received another additional bonus. In the first 6 months, he earned 127,000. How many cars did he sell in the first 6 months? Okay, so we try to break it down slowly. So for every 1 car he sells, he earned 2500. But what if he sold 10 cars? He will get bonuses, right? So in addition to the amount of commission he earned, which is 2500 times 10, he will still get a bonus of 3000. So punch in your calculator, should get 2800. So this is the amount of money he gets if he sells 10 cars. So they're actually bonuses. So as a salesperson, you want to get as much bonuses as you can. So in this case, to get bonuses, you will try to sell 10 cars, 10 cars, 10 cars, 10 cars. So now how many groups of 10 cars did he sell? So we will just take 12700 divided by 2800 to find out how many groups of 10 cars he sold. So one group got 10 cars, I show you. One group's got 10 cars, this you earn 2800. Another group of 10 cars. So there's many groups. Then after that you earn 127,000. So you want to find out how many groups are there. So how many circles are there? After that, the remaining one are sold individually. And individually you will only get 2500. So the number of groups of 10 cars, you just take 127,000 divided by 28,000. You get 4 remainder of 15,000. So this 4, right, means there's 4 groups of 10 cars. So that makes it 40 cars. Then for this remainder, these are all individual cars. So to find out how many individual cars he sold, just take 15,000 divided by 2500. I get this number from here. Should get 6. So in total, he sold 40 plus 6 cars, which is 46 cars. I hope it's understandable. If not, you can actually leave it down in the comment section. Yeah, I'll find out how I can help you. Okay, we only have 4 questions left to go. Wei-Ling took part in a math quiz which consists of 60 questions. For every correct answer, 3 marks are awarded. Every wrong answer, 2 marks will be deducted. Wei-Ling answered all the questions and scored a total of 140 marks for the quiz. How many questions did she answer correctly? Okay, so there are 60 questions. 3 marks if you correct, 2 marks deduct if you wrong. Total 150. Okay, the simplest way to do this is really guess and check. So I will show you guys the table. So number of correct question, number of marks awarded, number of wrong question, number of marks deducted. So you actually have to deduct it. Then you have a total score. Then guess and check. See whether it's correct, whether the numbers matches. So usually there's 60 questions, right? Usually what students do is to split them equally. So 30 correct questions, 30 wrong questions. So you have 30 correct questions, you will get 30 times 3 amount of marks, because 1 correct question you get 3 marks. So you'll be awarded with 90 marks. Then for 1 wrong question, you get 2 marks deducted, which means if you have 30 wrong questions, you will deduct your marks by 60. So total score will be 90 minus 60, which is 30. So does it match? No, so it's wrong. So now we'll try 52. So number of marks awarded will be 52 times 3, which is 156. One question will be 8, because in total there are 60 questions. Number of marks deducted will be 8 times 2, which gives you 16. So it will be 156 minus 16, which is 140. This is correct, yes. Because, sorry, I blocked the 1. This is 140. So answer is actually correct. And to answer the question, how many questions did she answer correctly? So she answered 52 questions correctly. Question 16. The usual price of a coffee machine sold is 144. This was 96% of the usual price of an identical coffee machine sold in store B. Both stores gave the same percentage discount on the coffee machine during the sale. During the sale, the coffee machine in store B cost 112.50 after the discount. What was the usual price of the coffee machine in store B? Okay, part A is simple. So the usual price in store A is 144. So in A is 144. And that's 96% of the usual price that was sold in B. So 96% belongs to A, which means that B is 100%, because it's 96% of B. So to find out what B's original price is, we just have to find out what 100% is. So punch in your calculator. So to find 100%, just take 144 divided by 96 times 100. We should get 150. Question B. What was the discount given for the coffee machine in store A during the sale? Okay, so for B, we have to find the discount given to A during the sale, right? But another information we have was that the percentage discount was the same for both A and B. So if we can find out what's the percentage discount in B, we can find out what's the percentage discount in A, then we can find out what's the discount in A. Okay, so first step, percentage discount in B, which the formula is just the discount over the original price times 100%. So what was the discount? It cost 112.5 after the discount. So the discount was 150 minus 112.5. Original price is 150 and times 100%. Punch in your calculator. Please make sure that you don't put a percent in your calculator, because the percent sign will be brought down here. You are not removing it, so you don't have to punch into your calculator. So it's just 25%. So if percentage discount in B is 25%, it means that the percentage discount in A is also 25%. Okay, so now you can find the discount in A, because the discount in A is 25% of the original price, right? So 25% of the original price, which is 144. So answer is $36. Okay, I've decided to skip question 17 because it's no longer inside the syllabus. Okay, so that concludes this video. So I hope you have understood week 20 worksheet better. This is week 20. Yeah, I hope you have understood week 20 worksheet better. If you need any review, you can rewatch the whole recording again. Okay, so just a tip for you guys, which is that in order to battle PSLE, right, you really have to do the previous PSLE questions. But not only that, you also have to do the prelim questions of many schools, because prelim questions are what the schools predict will come out for the actual PSLE. So try to do 2024 prelim questions once they are out. But if you really don't have time, really redo the PSLE questions multiple times. So for my students, we will start doing PSLE questions very soon, actually next week. So yeah, try to redo it many times until you are so familiar with it, because usually the same concepts will be tested, and usually more or less you will see like same questions being repeated over the years. Yeah, so to be able to do well for PSLE, you have to know your enemy well, right? So you have to know what type of questions that they are trying to set. So try to study your enemy, which is the past year PSLE questions, which is your TYS 10-year series. So that's all for today. Yeah, see you guys in class.